A murder in the Arctic, a poison from the Amazon, and a secret that 2 years later could literally shatter a fragile peace. This is the story of how one single death, planned down to the last molecule, is now reshaping our world in real time.
You know, for 2 whole years, the official story was sudden death syndrome. Simple, tragic, and, well, for some, incredibly convenient. But the truth, frozen and preserved in the Arctic ice, is so much more complex and so much more sinister. What's been unearthed isn't just a body, it's a weapon. And it's aimed right at the heart of international diplomacy.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Our story starts in a Siberian penal colony, pretty much one of the bleakest places on the entire planet. This is where Alexei Navalny, the Kremlin's most famous and persistent critic, died. The world was told one thing, but the 2 years silence that came after, well, it was hiding a chilling secret. And you're definitely going to want to stay till the end because some shocking things are going to be revealed in this explainer. All right, let's get back to it.
Just look at this timeline. 2 full years. February 16th, 2024. Navalny's death is announced. Then, nothing. Radio silence until February 14th, 2026, when a bombshell joint European forensic report just drops out of nowhere. Now, this isn't just some random revelation. This is a calculated, strategic strike. The report was released just 72 hours before the most important peace summit of the decade was set to start in Geneva. So the real question isn't just what happened. It's why are they telling us now?
So the timing is, let's just say, highly suspicious. But the evidence they present, it's absolutely damning. We're moving from the why now to the what with, the murder weapon itself. And this is not some familiar, almost crude poison like Novichok. Oh no, this is something far more exotic, something that belongs deep in a rainforest, not a Russian prison cell. The report names the substance Epibatidine. So what is it? It's an incredibly powerful neurotoxin, an alkaloid that comes from the skin of a very specific type of poison dart frog, found thousands of miles away in South America. Just its presence inside a maximum security Russian Tezin, it's not just suspicious, it's a clear, undeniable sign of foul play. To give you a sense of just how dangerous this stuff is, get this number in your head. As a painkiller, Epibatidine is 200 times more potent than morphine. But that incredible power is exactly what makes it so lethal. The line between a dose that dulls pain and a dose that kills you is microscopic. That makes it an incredibly precise and completely unforgiving tool for an assassin. So, how does it actually kill a person? Well, it basically hijacks the body's entire nervous system, causing this massive, uncontrollable overload. That triggers rapid respiratory failure. The lungs just stop listening to the brain. And finally, total paralysis sets in. You see why it was chosen, right? To any unsuspecting prison doctor, the symptoms would look exactly like a sudden massive heart attack or a seizure, a clean, tragic, and supposedly natural death. The Epibatidine is the smoking gun. I mean, think about it. This particular frog, it's native to Ecuador, not Russia. To get a lethal dose the natural way, you'd need the toxin from literally thousands of these tiny frogs. The only other way to get it, you'd need a state-of-the-art laboratory that could create a perfect synthetic replica. And that's exactly what the European report says happened. This was a lab-made designer poison.
So as you can imagine, an accusation this explosive has kicked off a major diplomatic crisis. On one side, you have a unified European front making a very direct, very detailed accusation. And on the other side, you have a predictable but incredibly forceful denial from the Kremlin. The stage is set for a massive international standoff.
And the two narratives could not be more different. A coalition, we're talking the UK, France, Germany, has officially called this a state-sponsored execution. Their argument is simple. Only the Russian state had the means, the motive, and the opportunity to pull this off. The Kremlin, in response, has dismissed the entire report as a baseless Western hoax, nothing more than political propaganda designed to wreck the peace talks.
But then another heavyweight steps into the ring, the United States. Now, they didn't co-sign the report, but this very carefully worded statement from the Secretary of State is absolutely crucial. By saying they are not disputing the findings, the US is throwing its immense credibility behind the European claims. It's a strategic move designed to isolate Moscow on the world stage.
And that brings us to what's happening right now. This isn't just about solving a 2-year-old murder mystery, it's about the present.
The timing of this report seems laser-focused on torpedoing one very specific event, that trilateral peace summit in Geneva.
I mean, the stakes in Geneva are just immense. You have Russia and Ukraine at the table, with Western powers watching, ready to talk about the future of contested regions like Donetsk, to try and hammer out 20 years security guarantees. This summit was supposed to be a way out, maybe even the beginning of the end of the war.
And this is where we need to talk about a really important concept: lawfare. It's the strategic use of legal proceedings and moral arguments as a weapon of conflict. Dropping this report right before the summit, it is a textbook example. A diplomatic strike designed to completely cripple Russia's position before a single word can even be negotiated.
And you can see the impact is immediate and devastating. Russia's moral standing at that table, it's gone. How can you negotiate a peace treaty with a state you're accusing of using a chemical weapon on a political prisoner? The whole agenda just shifts, from territory and borders to justice and accountability. And like President Zelensky has already said, how can you trust the signature of a leader you've just called an assassin on the world stage?
So finally, we have to ask the big question, why? Why choose such a bizarre, such an elaborate poison? The answer, it turns out, shows that this was never just about killing one man. It was about sending a very clear and very, very cold message.
So why Epibatidine? I mean, after the attacks in Salisbury, after the 2020 attempt on Navalny himself, Novichok has become infamous. It's a loud, almost clumsy signature that just screams Russia. So why the switch? Why use something so different, so scientifically obscure?
Well, the answer seems to lie in the hunt for the perfect crime. Epibatidine was picked for its subtlety. It mimics natural causes. It leaves almost no trace unless you know exactly what impossibly rare substance you're even looking for. It was designed to create doubt, to give the Kremlin what it always wants: plausible deniability. This was supposed to be a quiet kill.
But here's the thing, that's not what happened. The sheer exoticism of the choice, it backfired. Instead of being a quiet, deniable murder, the discovery of this poison has turned it into something else entirely. It's become a calling card, a signature of terrifying global reach and cruel, sophisticated capability. And this is the cold, calculated message that this method sends to every critic of the Kremlin, anywhere on Earth. It says, we can reach you, even in the most secure places. We have weapons you don't even know exist, and we can end you in a way that leaves the world guessing. It's the ultimate tool of fear.
So, in the end, a murder that was meant to be deniable, to just fade away into the prison records of the Arctic, is now the central issue in a global conflict. A truth carried in biological samples smuggled across borders has now erupted onto the world stage, and it may very well change the entire path to peace.
And that leaves all of us with this one massive unresolved question. Is this the definitive proof, the smoking gun, that will finally lead to Russia's complete and total isolation? Or is this a brilliant, if cynical, diplomatic maneuver designed to poison the well and derail any chance of a peace deal?
What do you think is really going on here? Let us know your take in the comments below. And if you found this explainer useful, make sure you subscribe for the latest updates. Our very next one is going to uncover the incredible story of the smuggling route that brought these secrets out of Russia. You can also watch another one of our explainers coming up on your screen right now.